What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to JohnnyKpicks. And in this video, I'll be going over my full card picks and predictions, along with the bets that I'm looking at so far for UFC 290 Volkanovski versus Rodriguez. Now, first things first, please hit that like button right now. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, or if you just haven't yet, click on the notifications if you want to stay updated when I put out my new videos or live streams or anything like that. Also, leave a comment below on your favorite fights for this weekend, your favorite bets, who you think's going to get the upset, all that good stuff. Put it in the comments, and I always comment back on everyone's thing if I can. So definitely do that. Also, another reminder, I am going to be doing my videos on Monday nights. I know I said that last week, but I want to remind everybody, just in case if you didn't watch it, Monday nights or Mondays, I will be putting out my videos for the week. So yesterday, or not yesterday, because I always do it on Sundays. I'm sorry. The other day was UFC Vegas 76. And let's get to that. Let's go over that real quick here. It was a pretty fun card. A lot of upsets. So let's get to it real quick. Just to start out, my picks, I ended up going 6-6, so not the greatest. And my bets, I only had 4. Didn't feel super confident in a lot of spots. As you can tell, I only hit one of those 4 bets, and I lost minus 2.79 units. The only bet that I did win was Sean Strickland, and I was very confident he would win. I should have put 5 units down instead of just 2, and just that should have been my only bet of the card. But let's go up the card real quick here. Romanov versus Blagoy. Sloppy heavyweight fight, as we all knew. Romanov just was the better guy. I think Blagoy, he's 36 years old, but man, he looked pretty rough in there. Romanov didn't look too much better, but he did win that fight. And at least he showed a little bit of better cardio. Probably because he wasn't shooting for takedowns as hard as he usually does, but he was struggling by round 3. I will give him that, but he did end up winning because Blagoy just didn't do anything that whole fight. Carolina versus Petrovic. Good win from Carolina. She did win that fight. Petrovic had her moments, but man, I thought she was going to be way better on the mat when she got those takedowns, and she just wasn't. She wasn't capitalizing on any of her grappling or anything like that. On the feet, she needs a lot of work. I will say that. So good win from Carolina. Brenner versus Garam. Amazing fight here. Brenner got the upset, and Garam was looking good until he wasn't, and he got hit in the 3rd round with that little left hook right on the chin, and he just went down. So Brenner is tough. He just toughed it out and got the win. That was an amazing upset, but sucks that everybody had Garam in their parlays. Unfortunately, I did not. I should say fortunately, but I would have if the price wasn't like minus 700. So little landmine there that I, walked around, but sucks because he was winning that fight until he wasn't. Hosa versus Santos, pretty close fight. If you want to say, Santos looked good early, and then Hosa figured out, hey, I shouldn't get held up against the cage and I might win. And then she started doing that, and she started looking better. And it was a split decision. And I think the right person won, but it was very close. Like, it could have went either way. Picked Hosa, got the win, got the over in that, one of my legs, and that's that. Brito versus Weston. We all know this was going to happen. Brito won. Weston tried the patented knee bar till he got ground and pounded by knockout. It works like a charm. 95% of the time, people want to keep going for knee bars nowadays. It just seems like they get ground and pound knocked out. So maybe people shouldn't be doing that anymore. How about that? Renat versus Kevin Lee. Renat looked amazing. Under a minute. Got the guillotine. It should be a knockout, but it was a club and sub. Kevin Lee just looked like I don't want to say he looked like a deer in headlights because it was only 55 seconds, but man, he was getting touched up early. And I'm like, this isn't going to last too long. And it didn't after a couple times. So good win from Renat. He's going to be a problem in this division, especially if he gets that striking going like he looked like in his last fight. It's going to be good. Nursultan versus Bruno. Nursultan just landed that a big shot, naked leg kick from Bruno and put him down like a sack of potatoes. So good win from Nursultan. Bruno, I mean, is middleweight the right weight for him? I mean, he's super thick, I get it, but maybe he can cut down to welterweight. He was just super small compared to Nursultan. I know Nursultan's like, 6'5", but Crazy fight there. Another crazy fight. Benoit Saint Denis versus Bonfim. I thought Bonfim was going to look a lot better than he did. And Saint Denis was just rocking those body leg kicks. And I don't know if it hurt his Bonfim's arm, but you could tell something was going on with his arm. And yeah, I think that could have played a part in the grappling, why he couldn't defend the rear naked choke. So good win from Saint Denis. Super tough. We knew that. And my cat is crazy. Get down. Sorry. But super tough and good win from Saint Denis. Lipski and versus Gatto. Very close fight again. I don't know who won this fight. I picked Lipski to win. I thought she had a chance to win, and she did what she needed to do to potentially win this fight, which was stuff the takedowns. And on the feet, it was very close, but I think maybe the judges favored Lipski's forward pressure and kept moving Gatto backwards, because on the striking, I think it was very close. But Lipski did do better in the later parts of the rounds, like late round 2 and round 3. Gatto looked better in the first half of the fight. So to me, very good fight and very close fight. So no problem whatsoever. Morales versus Griffin. Morales looked very good. You could tell he's still young. He's still got a little bit of improvement to do, but he was just outclassing Griffin on the feet. Griffin didn't really have too much. He survived. He stayed strong, but Morales got that win. One of my awful bets of the night was Demir money line versus Grant Dawson. Grant Dawson just backpacked him for 14 minutes and 25 seconds. How about that? So it is what it is. Demir just doesn't have the grappling chops to I figured that out after that fight. So if Demir's fighting a striker, I'll look at betting him. If he's fighting a grappler, I'm betting the other guy. How about that? And Sean Strickland versus Magomedov. It was classic Sean Strickland minus the KO, because he usually doesn't get KOs. He usually gets decision. And Magomedov had no gas after round 1. You could tell he was even slowing down in round 1 at the end. So he was huffing and puffing, mouth wide open. He didn't even really want to be in there. And Sean Strickland just kept marching forward like he always does. And that's how he wins his fights. So good win from Sean Strickland. And that is that for UFC 76. We'll go to my bets real quick. Like I said, I had a bet on Sean Strickland, won that. Demir lost. Bonfim, I thought he was going to win, lost that parlay. And I also had the over 1.5 in the Bonfim fight, which it didn't even get to the second round because those guys were coming out guns blazing. And I didn't think that was going to happen. So minus 2.79 units right there. If you could see it, I'll move up a little bit because I know I might be in the way. There you go. So 2 cards in a row I lost so far. So this is a good card. Hopefully I can get this back. I'm going to try to double up on a couple things real quick. I like a lot of certain spots in this one. But without further ado, let's get to it. We'll go to the first one here. I don't know if this is going to be the right order, but I'm just going to go by Tapology. So we got Della Maddalena versus Josiah Harrell. Maddalena is 14-2, 26 years old, 5'11", 73-inch reach. And Harrell is 24 years old, 5'7", with a 67-inch reach. Also, just to point out, he is normally a lightweight, and this is going to be a welterweight fight. So we all know who Della Maddalena is, unless you're new to UFC. He's a very, very, very good boxer with tons of power. He's durable. His takedown defense is pretty good. Doesn't really have a grappling and wrestling game. He's just going to keep it on the feet, more so defensive grappling and wrestling. Super dangerous for all 3 rounds. And seems like whenever he throws his punches, he's only throwing at like a 75% power, and he's hitting at 150% power. So he's got super big power. Harrell is taking this fight on short notice. He's making his UFC debut. His striking is just okay, not very technical or anything like that. He's got solid grappling and wrestling, good takedowns. That's what he is, more so a wrestler and grappler. Like I said, he's taking this on short notice, so not a good look here. He's super young at 24. I got Della here all day. I just don't think Harrell is going to win this fight, even though he's the muscle hamster. I like that nickname. But definitely going to be the better striker. Jack is. better power. I think the only way Harrell has a chance to win this fight is to get those takedowns, but I don't know. He's really small. I mean, he's thick, but he's small. He's 5'7". Jack should be able to stuff the majority of them, I think, or maybe he gets taken down once, but I think he should be able to get back up and just go back to this boxing and get the knockout here. So with my pick, I'm going to say Jack Della wins by knockout. I would say first or early second round. Bets I'd look at here. I think it's priced at minus 850 money line for Jack. So that's kind of crazy already, even though he probably wins this fight that many times. I would look at the knockout prop. At least you can get it down a little bit more for a parlay piece inside the distance because he does have a club and sub in his last fight that happened against the Randy Brown. So if you want to be super safe there, or look at the under, it's probably gonna be set at 1.5. I think it ends under for sure. So depending on what's the better price, that's the way to go for the whatever way finish you like, if you want to say. Next one we got is going to be Edgar Chairez versus Tatsuro Taira. Edgar is 10-4, 27 years old, 5'7", with a 72-inch reach, and Taira is 13-0, 23 years old, 5'7", with a 70-inch reach. So Taira was supposed to fight a little bit ago, I think maybe a couple weeks ago. But anyways, Edgar's taking this fight on short notice. He's making his UFC debut. He's a well-rounded fighter. His striking is pretty good. His grappling is pretty good as well. I would say his striking is a little bit better. On the feet, though, he's a little too hittable for my liking, if you want to say. And his takedown defense is just okay. It's not awful, but in this fight, he's going to need that takedown defense because Taira is a super well-rounded fighter. I would say his grappling is a little bit better than the striking, but he does have solid striking with good technique. Wrestling is just okay. Needs to work on his takedowns a bit, but he can definitely get this fight to the mat, I think, and use his grappling and submissions, which he's really good at. But I got to go with Taira here. And I'm not saying that Edgar is super bad or anything like that or a bum, but I just think taking this fight on short notice against a grappling ace like Taira is going to be a big problem for Edgar. He's going to have to keep this fight on the feet to have a chance. But I don't know his gas tank, how he's going to look taking this fight on short notice. I think he's been subbed a couple times in his career. Yeah, 2 times in his career, and he's lost twice by decision. So he's never been knocked out. I don't see a knockout here. So with my pick, I'm going to go with Taira to win by submission. I think he just gets it eventually in the second round or third round. First round might be close, but Taira is going to win this one eventually by submission. I say bets, I would look at Taira by submission or inside the distance. I think Taira is also at a minus 850 favorite, which I totally get in a way. But like I said, Edgar's pretty decent. He's not a bum. So Taira is really good. Look at the unders as well. If it's set at 2.5, that could be a good under. If it's set at 1.5, that could be a good over. But we'll see what it's set at here. But maybe Taira inside the distance or sub is the way to go. Next one we got is going to be Cameron Saaiman versus Terrence Mitchell. Saaiman is 8-0, 22 years old, 5'8", with a 67-inch reach, and Mitchell 15-2, 33 years old, 5'10", and I'm not sure his reach, but I want to say it is in the 70s if I saw it on a different website. I can't remember offhand. Saaiman's a well-rounded fighter. He's got solid striking with high volume. Power's okay. Good grappling. Takedown defense is not that great, though, but he does have good reversals, and he can take the back. He's got good submissions. A little thing about his UFC debut and his last fight, he tends to get a little crazy and get those points deducted against him. So I think the last 2 fights he did. So something to think about if you're betting this fight, because I know he's super young at 22, but it just seems like he gets those eye pokes, he gets those kicks to the groin, and they take a point from him. Mitchell is taking this fight on short notice. He's making his UFC debut. He's got solid striking, good grappling and submissions. I would say his grappling is a little bit better. He does fight out of the Alaskan scene, the MMA, the regional scene up there. So, and for me, that's always kind of a little red flag because the guys that he's fighting are not great. So that 15-2 record may look great, But look at the fighters he's fighting up in Alaska there. 4-1, 4-2, 4-0, 3-3, 1-2. Like all of these guys are just low level. His best win, I mean, maybe this guy, Josh Branham. I never even heard of him, but that was back in 2012. So, and he lost to Kai Kara France in Ultimate Fighter. So, I think this may be a pretty close fight just because Saaiman's so young and he does make some mistakes, but I'm still going to pick Saaiman to win. I like his striking a little bit more than Mitchell's on the feet or on the mat. I'm sorry. It may be a little bit closer, but I'm just worried that Saaiman with another eye poke or another shot to the groin gets a point taken, and he's a minus 480, 450 favorite, which is a little crazy to me too, because he does tend to make some of those fights a little close. Because this fight was close because of the point deduction. He barely won it though because of it. And then this Kozlov fight, he got the knockout because he gassed out, but he did get a point taken away from him too. So gonna go with Saaiman to win this one. I'm gonna say by decision. Mitchell's pretty tough. I don't think he's been finished too often. He's been knocked out once. So I don't see a knockout from Saaiman. I don't see a submission because Mitchell's grappling is pretty decent. So give me Saaiman by decision. Bets, maybe look at the over, but that's all I would really think about playing here. Or if you want to take a shot on the dog, but I just think Saaiman gets it done. Or if you want to do a Lou Betcha Yam Bag special, there you go. You know what that is? Check out Lou on Instagram or on Twitter. He will tell you what a yam bag is. Next one going to be Jimmy Crute versus Alonzo Menifield. Jimmy Crute is 12-3-1, 27 years old, 6'2" with a 74-inch reach, and Menifield is 13-3-1, 35 years old, 6 foot with a 76-inch reach. And both these guys' draw came against each other in their last fight 4 months ago. So this is a rematch because it was a draw essentially, but it was a good fight. So I'm just basically going to break this down exactly how I broke it down in the last fight. I have my notes from it. So Crute is a well-rounded guy. He's got good wrestling and good takedowns. His striking is just okay. He has decent power. He just doesn't have head movement at all. He gets hit and he gets rocked. He got rocked in the Menifield fight. I think a couple times he got knocked down, but he got up and he started working his wrestling, and that made that fight a lot closer than it was. Menifield, though, power striker with tons of power early. He's very dangerous early. He does have pretty good takedowns and wrestling himself. Takedown defense is pretty good too, but he does gas a little bit as the fight goes on, and that does allow him to get taken down a little bit easier than normal. So this fight, I really think it's going to almost play out the same. Like I like Menifield early on the feet. I think he can get a couple knockdown, maybe get a knockout. If Crute can survive and get the wrestling going early and kind of drag this fight into later rounds, it'll kind of look like it did in the last fight where he was doing better in the later rounds. He was getting those takedowns, a lot of control time. So I can see this fight go either way. Let's be honest. In my last fight when I broke this down, I did say Menifield to win. I'm going to stick with that again. I'm going to go with Menifield to get the KO. I think he gets it this time. I think he's going to work on his takedown defense. And if he can stuff those takedowns, I'm telling you, he's going to be better on the feet. He's going to land the harder shots. Crute has zero head movement. And his only way I think he's going to win this fight is if he gets those takedowns. But if Menifield's working on those takedown defense, I don't think Crute's going to win. I think Menifield's going to win, whether it's going to be by decision or knockout, whatever. So I think right now he's at a plus 100, Menifield is. So that might be a good bet if you're looking at it that way. Look at the under if you think there's going to be a finish, but that's a little dicey. If it's set at 1.5, I may even look at the over 1.5, but you just have to worry about the Menifield knockout in the first round because he's very live for that. So with my pick, I'm going to go with Menifield by knockout. And then maybe look at the money lines, depending on who you like here. I don't blame anybody for going with Crute, but you're just hoping he can get takedowns because he can't stay on the feet with Alonzo. He's going to get knocked out. Next one is going to be Vitor Petrino versus Marcin Prachnio. Petrino is 8-0, 25 years, 6'2", with a 77-inch reach. And Marcin is 16-6, 34 years old, 6'3", with a 74-inch reach. So Petrino is a powerful striker. He's got okay wrestling, good takedowns. He can slow down a little bit as the fight goes on. Takedown defense isn't the greatest either, but he's super dangerous. He's super tough. He's super strong. So it's really hard to take him down. Marcin, though, solid striker with decent power. His cardio can be an issue for him at times. His takedown defense isn't that great either. His chin's a little questionable. We've seen in the past, but he didn't have to worry about that in his last fight against one of the worst fights from or game plans from a fighter that I've ever seen in my life. The Philip Lin's fight was barely close early on. Then it was kind of a sloppy mess the last two. And then he's beaten guys, pretty deep. Well, Khalil Ranchi's pretty good. But this may end up being a close fight if it gets out of the first round, because I do think it may be like one of those sloppy fights. But I gotta go with Petrino here. I like his striking more. Maybe it might be not be the more technical striker, but he's gonna have more power. He's going to have more ways to win this fight. He can get the wrestling going. He can get the takedowns if he gets in any kind of trouble. And both guys slow down. So first round is going to be the most dangerous round, I would say. And then after that, I think it may just go to decision. We've seen that happen in Petrino's last fight against Turkalal. He landed some good shots early, but Anton was able to survive those. And then it just dragged it out into a crazy wrestling clinching fest for the rest of the 2 rounds. So, like I said, going with Petrino here, I'm gonna say he does get that knockout in the first round, because I just don't trust Marcin's chin whatsoever. Bets though, I can't parlay him. I'm not that confident that he wins this fight. Maybe look at prop like Petrino knockout prop. Look at the unders, because Petrino can get, or I'm sorry, Prachnio can get the knockout here too, but Petrino's tough. So I don't know. This is a weird fight for me, but I'm going with the guy that has more ways to win this fight, I believe, and that's going to be Petrino. Next one we got is going to be Camilla Kirk versus Esteban Ribovics. Kirk is 11-5, 29 years old, 5'10", with a 75-inch reach. And Esteban is 11-1, 27 years old, 5'10", with a 69-inch reach. Also to point out as well, this is going to be a lightweight fight. Kirk is normally a featherweight, so he's moving up to lightweight for this one. So Kirk's a very solid grappler with very good submissions. His striking is just okay. It's not the greatest. Takedown defense isn't all that great either. He can be hittable on the feet. He does push forward at times, but sometimes he can be a little too aggressive, and that's when he's very hittable. Esteban is a very good striker with pretty good power. He likes to push forward. His grappling is okay. He mainly wants to keep it on the feet. His takedown defense really isn't all that great either, but he does have a good get-up game, and he's very safe down there if he does get on his back. He works to get up. He doesn't stay down there. I like Esteban here a lot, and I can see why some people may lean on the Kirk side here, but I think Kirk's striking defense and lack thereof, if you want to say, is going to be the key here. And if this fight stays on the feet, I love Esteban all day. His striking is going to be way better on the mat. Kirk can get the takedowns. I mean, I think Esteban will be able to get back up. I don't think he's going to get the submission Kirk or anything like that, but Kirk's going to need a lot of control time to win this fight. Kind of like in Esteban's last fight, even though that was a close, it could have went the other way, even though it was unanimous. But I thought that was a very close fight, even though Radzhabov had a lot of takedowns and control time. Esteban was landing the better shots with more damage. So I think this is just going to be a little bit better. Plus, like I said, Kirk's normally a featherweight. I want to see how he looks here. So I like Esteban to win. I'm going to say he gets the knockout as well on here. Bets, I mean, I think he's a minus 175, which isn't too bad. I'm looking at that. I want to see where the line goes. Maybe more Kirk love comes in. Maybe look at inside the distance or knockout prop for Esteban. Maybe look at the under if you think Kirk can get the sub. I think Esteban can get the knockout for sure. So those would be the bets I'd be looking at. I'm going to watch that line for Esteban. That might be one play I do for sure at minus 175. Or if it gets under the lower than that, definitely. This is going to be a very fun fight. Yasmin Jauregui versus Denise Gomes. Yasmin is 10-0, 24 years old, 5'3", with a 64-inch reach. Gomes is 7-2, 23 years old, 5'2", with a 63-inch reach. So Yasmin is a very, very good technical striker. She likes to push forward. She's got good kicks. She's got good boxing, throws tons of volume. Her grappling is pretty good, but she wants to keep it on the feet. Her takedown defense is good too. The only little red flag with her for me is she can get rocked at times and she's open for counters if she's a little too aggressive. And this could play a part here because Denise Gomes is a well-rounded fighter. She's got solid striking, good power in her hands. She's got good wrestling and good grappling when she gets on top. She's very strong and she's very durable. The only one thing with Gomes, I would say, is her striking isn't as technical, and she can be a little bit of a slow starter. She tends to, like, in the first round, it seems like she just tries to figure out what she needs to do, and then she gets going in the second and third. But she's a grinder. She has good cardio, and she's a solid fighter. And this is going to be, I think, a lot closer fight, or could be, than the line says. I do not like this line whatsoever for Yasmin, but the pick is going to be Yasmin because her striking is so good. And if she can stuff the takedowns, which I do think she can early, I'm not saying Denise's wrestling is very good. She has solid takedowns, but it's not anything crazy good or anything. But Yasmin's striking is so good. That's the key here for me. And I think she can piece up Denise, but she's got to be careful with those counters because Gomes can definitely land a knockout and rock Yasmin, maybe even drop her. And we've seen Yasmin dropped, I think, by Nunes. And I don't think in this fight, but that was a very good fight. But she did get dropped there, which I was kind of shocked because I had a bet on Yasmin in that fight. But she ended up getting the knockout later in the fight. So I'm gonna go Yasmin to win this one. I'm gonna say by decision because Gomes is very tough. She has good cardio, durable. But I just think that striking is going to be too much for Denise if she cannot get those takedowns. So going with Yasmin by decision, I'll look at that prop, Yasmin by decision prop, just to see what that is. I like the over in this fight too. If it's nothing crazy, like overpriced, like at minus 350, which I don't think it will be. So if it's like minus like 200 range, it might be something to look at here for this one because that minus 420, 450, wherever she's at now is crazy to me. Next fight is going to be Shannon Ross versus Jesus Aguilar. Ross is 13-7, 34 years old, 5'6", with a 66-inch reach. And Aguilar is 8-2, 27 years old, 5'4", with a 62-inch reach. So Ross is a pretty well-rounded fighter. He's got good wrestling, solid striking, likes to push forward. He's a little too aggressive at times, and he is super, super hittable. He can take a few good shots though, but eventually it gets to him, and it seems like his chin can't hold up because he takes a lot of damage on the feet. Aguilar though is a very good grappler. He's got a sneaky guillotine submission. He's always looks for that. He's got 1, 2, so we got 3 in his last 5 fights. I think even in the Tatsuro fight, he even tried to get a guillotine, but it didn't work out. His striking is decent. He's got some power. He's not super technical. Looks for those like overhand rights and stuff like that. But man, I think this is going to be an interesting fight. I'm going to side with Aguilar here because I do think he can get the takedowns on Ross. Ross's takedown defense really isn't all that great. And on the feet, I think Aguilar can land one of those overhand rights and maybe knock out Ross because Ross is just really aggressive, unless he just is going to change his game plan. But we haven't seen it yet, at least in his last couple fights. So, like I said, I think Aguilar wins this one. I'm going to say he gets the submission later in the fight. I don't know if it's going to be by guillotine, but he's a very good grappler with good submissions. And if he starts getting those takedowns, I think he can get a submission for sure. Let's look to see if Ross, he's been submitted once, he's been knocked out. So he's been finished 4 out of his 6, 7 losses. And lately he's been getting finished a lot. So That's not really someone I would like to back, especially if you're getting finished a lot. So, like I said, give me Aguilar to win this one. I'll say by submission bets. Maybe look at Aguilar money line. It's under minus 215. I think it's minus 180 range, which isn't too bad. Inside the distance for Aguilar, I think that's the play that I would do. Like I said, Ross has been getting finished a lot lately. The under, if you think Ross can get a finish, which he definitely could, but man, we've seen Aguilar get rocked a couple times too, especially in the this fight, this Dana White Contender Series fight against Ferreira, sorry, and he survived and he ended up getting the submission. So pick is going to be Aguilar by sub. Look at the unders, Aguilar money line, or inside the distance for him as well. Next one is going to be a fun one. Robbie Lawler versus Niko Price. We all know who Robbie Lawler is, but he is 29 and 16, 41 years old right now, 5'11 with a 74-inch reach. Niko Price is 15 and 6, 33 years old, 6 foot with a 76-inch reach. So we all know Robbie Lawler, like I said, he's a solid striker. He's super tough. He's super durable. He's got good power in his hands. He can be super hittable, though. That's the problem. He can be slowed down as the fight goes on as well. He doesn't really shoot for takedowns too much anymore, so he's going to keep this one on the feet probably. Price, solid striker with good power too. He's a little unorthodox at times. High volume, very durable and tough too. Fun fighter. Both these guys are fun fighters to watch. So this is going to be a brawl. I feel like this is going to be one of those fights where they're going to try to put on a show for everybody, which I don't blame them. And I got to go with Price here if that's the case. He's the younger fighter. Lawler's slowing down a bit. He got finished by Brian Barberena. And Brian Barberena doesn't finish anybody, guys. So that's a big red flag for me. He's 41 years old. First round's going to be very fun. Back and forth probably. But I do think as the fight goes on, Niko's going to outstrike him, land the better shots, maybe even get him out of there in the third round. So with my pick, give me Price. I'm going to say this one goes to decision, though. Reason why, they're both a little older, legends of the sport. Maybe this is Lawler's retirement fight. Niko's going to maybe, this is my little conspiracy theories, but like maybe he's not going to go all out and try to get that finish because he knows this may be Lawler's last fight. He wants to give him a little bit of respect, go 3 rounds, put on a show for everybody, goes a distance. So I'm staying away from any props here other than maybe the over. Price by decision, I'm going to go with my pick. I just don't think there's going to be a finish here. If there is a finish, maybe it's Lawler. Maybe Lawler catches him because I don't think he's going to care. But Price is going to be I think he's going to be a little bit nice here and see what happens. But I think he's going to be the better fighter and win this one. Main card now is going to be a banger. Dan Hooker versus Jalen Turner. Hooker, 22 and 12, 33 years old, 6 foot with a 75.5-inch reach. And Turner is 13 and 6, 28 years old, 6'3 with a 75.5-inch reach, which I'm not sure about that. I think he has a longer reach than that. I could be wrong, but he's very tall. So I figured it'd be like 78-inch reach, but it is what it is. But Hooker is a very good kickboxer, very technical striker. He likes to stay at range. He keeps his range well as well. Solid power. He can be hittable on the feet at times if he gets in the brawls and stuff like that. Chin, I don't want to say it's questionable, but it can be touched and he can drop. It's got good takedown defense and good defensive grappling, but I don't think there's going to be any grappling in this fight. It's going to be a striking showdown. Turner's a very good striker himself, tons of power, likes to stay at range as well, has some sneaky submissions so he can get that club and sub like he did in one of his fights recently against Dushko, I believe. Not Dushko, Euros, sorry. Yeah, Medic. Sorry, wrong Serbian. But yeah, this is gonna be a fun fight, but I'm gonna go with Turner. I think he's the more dangerous guy at both of their points in their career. I trust Turner's chin a little bit more as well. So this is gonna be a striking fight. Gonna go back and forth. I think like I said, I think he's a little bit more dangerous. Turner is. Maybe he can take the back in certain situations. He can get like a club and sub, like I said. Hooker is gonna be looking for the knockout, obviously, but going with my pick here, I'm going to say Turner does find the knockout, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a club and sub. So the pick will be Turner by finish, I will say. Let's put it that way. Bets, I like Turner money line in a parlay, something I'm looking at. Inside the distance, if you wanted to look at that too for Turner, just in case for that club and sub. And you can look at the under too. I think the under hits. If it's set at 1.5, though, I'm going to hit that over because I don't think this fight is going to end in the first round for sure. I think both guys are durable enough. They're going to respect each other's strength and feel each other out with the range and stuff like that. So I don't think it's going to be a crazy first round. It's a second round. I think that's where this fight's going to begin and get a little bit hectic. Next one, we got Robert Whittaker versus Dricus du Plessis. Robert Whittaker, 24-6, 32 years old, 6 foot, 73.5-inch reach. And Dricus is 19-2, 29 years old, 6'1", with a 76-inch reach. So this is going to be a very good fight as well. Robert Whittaker, what can we say about Robert Whittaker that nobody already knows? He is super well-rounded, very good technical striker, good leg kicks, good kicks in general, good power in those hands, very good takedown defense, good wrestling when he wants to use it. He's got good takedowns, but most of the time I think he uses the wrestling just to switch things up a little bit and make his opponent just guess a little bit more and keep him guessing. But Robert Whittaker is one of those fighters, I will say, that you know what you're getting out of him in every fight. Every fight, you're going to get the same Robert Whittaker. Du Plessis is a wild, powerful striker. He's very durable. He's got good grappling and very good submissions. He does slow down as the fight goes on, but I know he just had surgery on his nose or something, which may have been the issue for the cardio issues, if you want to say. But we'll see in this fight. We'll see if his cardio is better. But I'm just going by what I've seen in the tape. He does slow down. He gets a little sloppy at times as the fight goes on as well. He can be taken down rather easily. That's something to think about too. I think Darren Till was the one that got him down a couple times. So if Darren Till's getting you down, there you go. Think about that. But this is, like I said, Robert Whittaker is one of those guys where I know what I'm getting in every fight. So I got to go with Robert Whittaker. Robert Whittaker is just on his own level in the middleweight division. He's just that one step lower than Izzy because that's his bugaboo fighter. He just can't beat Izzy, just like Max Holloway can't beat Volkanovski. But I will blind bet and blind pick anyone fighting Whittaker not named Israel Adesanya. So the pick is going to be Whittaker here. I think he's going to win this one by decision. Dricus is very tough. I think he can stick in there for 3 rounds. Maybe du Plessis lands a takedown or something like that, but I just, on the feet, it's night and day. Whittaker's too technical, and he may even catch him coming rushing in because he kind of rushes in like this. So it's not a good look when you're fighting Whittaker. So pick's going to be Whittaker, I'll say, by decision. Bets, I like Whittaker money line for a parlay. I know it's about -400 right now, but I think that's a solid, safe parlay piece. I think he gets it done. Look at the over if you think it's going to go to the decision. Something like that. But I like Whittaker a lot here. Bo Nickal, Tresean Gore. We'll make this one rather short because I believe everyone's pick is going to be the one side over here. Bo Nickal is 4-0, 27 years old, 6'1", with a 76-inch reach. And Tresean Gore is 4-2, 29 years old, 6 foot, with a 75-inch reach. So if you don't know who Bo Nickal is, he's a very good wrestler, very good takedowns, very explosive, very good grappling, very good submissions. His striking seems to just be okay, but we really haven't seen too much of his striking yet. Because he's been winning in the first round rather short, like really quick, like within a minute or 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and he gets the fight to the mat right away. Gore, good striker. He's got decent power. His takedown defense is pretty decent. He's going to need it here, though. I would say that he can be low volume on the feet at times, and he can be hittable too. This is going to be all day, every day, Bo Nickal, I believe. I think this is just going to be one of those fights where, let's just say, what fight was it? Look, this fight, minus the groin shot, it's going to happen exactly like this. It's going to go up to Tresean Gore, probably push him up against the cage, get the takedown, start working the submissions, maybe some ground and pound, and either get the neck for a submission win, or he's going to get like a head and arm choke if he's in full mount and get the submission there. So with my pick, I'm going to go Nickal by submission, round, if not second. Bets, I would look at Nickal by submission. I would look at the unders, Nickal inside the distance, anything like that. I think it's going to be a good bet, something to think about. Full main event. This is going to be an amazing fight. This may be the fight that I'm looking forward to the most, actually, I'll be honest. And I know the Volkanovski Yair fight's going to be amazing, but this fight I think is going to be just a touch better. Moreno versus Pantoja. Moreno is 21, 6-2, 29 years old. He is 5'7" with a 70-inch reach. And Pantoja, 25-5, 33 years old, 5'5" with a 68-inch reach. So Moreno is a very good striker with good boxing. He's very tough. He's got solid wrestling and grappling too, but most of the time he wants to keep it on the feet, work his work his boxing. He can be a little hittable sometimes, but nothing super crazy. He's got decent power, and he's just a solid, good fighter. Pantoja is very, very dangerous with solid striking himself. He's got very good grappling and submissions, which I do think his grappling is a little bit better than his striking. He's durable as well. Takedown defense is just okay. He does like to push forward, and he goes for the kill. He's literally like a cannibal. He's just going for that finish at all times. And like I said, this is going to be such a fun fight to watch. And I know everyone probably going to bring up that Pantoja beat Moreno twice in the past. And my pick is not going to be related to any of that. I know Moreno was younger, and he's been improving a lot in his fights. So Pantoja is such a killer, dude. And I got to go with Pantoja here. I think he needs to get this fight to the mat and mix it up. He can't keep it on the feet, though, because that's going to be Moreno's game. And it's going to be a lot closer for Moreno to win if Pantoja does. But if Pantoja can work the grappling, try to get some takedowns, I think he can. Moreno's takedown defense is pretty good, but it's nothing amazing where he's never going to get taken down. So if Pantoja works his grappling, which I do think he will, gets it going, he's live for a submission. On the feet, obviously, they're both live for knockouts and stuff like that, but both guys are super durable. And I think the only way someone's going to get one another out of this fight is going to be by a submission. And I'm going to say Pantoja gets that submission. I'm going to say later in the fight, like third or fourth round submission. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's early because Pantoja goes for it early. So pick's going to be Pantoja by submission, like I said. Bets, I like the money line for Pantoja plus 155 range, 160, I think it is right now. It's pretty close to 170 if it's not. But Moreno's not a bad fighter to bet, even if it's at minus 200. I just think the line favors Pantoja. I think he's the more dangerous fighter as well. And he's not like a super liability or like red flags anywhere for Pantoja. He's good everywhere. I just think he's a better grappler with better submissions. So that's how I think he's going to win that fight. Very good fight, though. And I'm definitely want to watch it for sure. Main event time. We got Alexander Volkanovski versus Yair Rodriguez. We all know who Volkanovski is. 25-2, 34 years old, 5'6" with a 71.5-inch reach. Yair is 15-3, 30 years old, 5'11" with a 71-inch reach. All right. So Volkanovski is super well-rounded fighter. He's basically good everywhere. He's not bad in any category. If you want to say one little thing that he's not amazing at is maybe finishing ability, but man, everything on the board he's very good or amazing at. Boxing, grappling, wrestling, durability, cardio, anything you say, he's going to be very good at. Rodriguez is a very, very good striker. He's got great kicks. He's unorthodox with his strikes, so he can, that crazy elbow where he beat, who was it? Oh, Korean Zombie. Like he's got that kind of stuff. He's got good grappling as well, but he's going to keep this on the feet, I believe, and go for his, his striking and try to get those kicks going. I think that's his best quality here, but Takedown defense isn't the greatest either. He can be taken down, but like I said, he's not a like fish out of water when he gets down on his back. Like I believe Brian Ortega took him down, and he was working for that submission, and he kind of got Ortega's shoulder out of place or something, whatever happened, because he was working for that arm bar. So he's not a, like I said, he's not a fish out of water. But I know a lot of people are going to be like, the line's wide. Sure, it could be a little bit, but Volkanovski is one of those fighters, just like Whittaker, where he's just on another level. I'm gonna blind pick and blind bet him until you see him lose. I know the Islam fight was a different thing. We'll just talk about the featherweight division. In the featherweight division, blind bet, blind pick Volkanovski. So that's not saying what I'm doing here, but going with Volkanovski to win. He's a champ for a reason. I just really don't think anyone in the featherweight division is going to beat him right now. Maybe in a year or two, there might be a couple people coming up, Ilya, but that's a couple years away. Ilya needs a little bit more work and some fine tuning, even though I do think Ilya is very, very good, but he's 26 years old. I think he's got a little bit of time too. So, but on the feet, though, I do think this fight will be close. I think Volkanovski should use some wrestling, get those takedowns, get some control time, maybe wear down Yair a little bit. We've seen him slow down a little bit in some of those fights later on in the fight, but nothing crazy like he's death gassing. So just the volume starts to slow down a bit. So, and Volkanovski just seems to get stronger as the fight goes on. You saw in round 5 of Islam versus him, he looked fantastic. So, got to go with Volkanovski, even though I know the line is crazy wide. But I think he just wins the fight. I'm going to say he wins this one by decision. Like I said, he's not the biggest finisher. Maybe if Yair maybe if he gasses too much and he gets rocked, he gets finished. But I think Yair's pretty tough too. So I don't believe he's been finished. Oh, he's been knocked out twice. Okay. Can't even remember those knockouts. Frankie Edgar, which was a while ago. Okay, that's why. All right. I see that. But yeah, that was a doctor stoppage. So really, you can't really count that as a thing finished, even though he couldn't fight. But it is what it is. Volkanovski by decision. Look at the overs here. Maybe Volkanovski by decision. You like Yair, obviously, plus 325 is not a bad bet at all. But all right, guys, those are my picks and predictions for UFC 290, Volkanovski versus Rodriguez. Thank you, everybody, for watching. As always, please hit that like button. Please subscribe if you're new to the channel. If you enjoyed my video, leave comments below. Favorite fights, favorite bets of this week, all good. As always, Thursday nights, me and Cody from Blood Money MMA Bets, we always do our live stream, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern time. So definitely check in and tune in to those. My videos are going to be on Monday nights, like I said, for breakdowns. So definitely be on the lookout for Mondays, not Sundays. If I'm doing something on a Monday, though, I will say I will try to get it out on a Sunday if possible. But again, like I said, thank you everybody for watching. And until next time, happy fight night.